YouTubers! Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. Canadian cities are now too expensive for minimum wage employees to rent. Yeah, it's always been. And let me explain to you what minimum wage means to me as being a 41-year-old, I guess, Generation X-er. What does minimum wage mean to me? Minimum wage is I'm home from school, summer holidays, I want to start making some money over the summer, work a minimum wage job, and buy my first car. Or save up for college. Or have some spending money through the year. That's what minimum wage is. Living with your parents, making a little bit of extra dough on the side, just to pay your way. That's it. That's a minimum wage job. Now, what's happened is people in the last 10, 15 years have been massaged into believing that minimum wage jobs are careers. When they're just get me by jobs. Nothing wrong with working minimum wage. Actually, I've never worked minimum wage in my lifetime because when I was of age to work minimum wage back in the day, they wouldn't hire me. We were flooded with a lot of immigrants came in, and the guys before me, when they got their SIN numbers, we used to get our social security numbers when we got a SIN number to work, a working number. When we turned 13, we're allowed to apply for it, right? And when we got our numbers, the guys ahead of us that were 15 and 16, and I was still 13, were all working minimum wage jobs in the early 90s, right? And then the flood of people started coming in, and they were popping up those minimum wage jobs and taking them and using them as careers to feed their families. And it was like, huh. So when it came to my turn, or our generation, my generation, who's 40 and 39 and 41 that lived in a big city and tried to get a job? Why? Because the people that came in to work these minimum wage jobs at Kentucky Fried Chicken, Tim Hortons, and all those places, they came in, they were more dependable, they were older, they were more experienced, and they were getting paid next to nothing. And that's why, employers love that. And then the high school guys, summertime, let's get a job, there weren't no jobs for us. They were like, and that's why everyone started depending on these student loans, because they saved no money going to high school, and they believe, well, I'll just get a career job. Now, where are those career jobs getting them today? Especially if they're working in the public sector. So, Canadian cities are now too expensive for minimum wage employees to rent? What the heck? Canadian real estate insanity has officially spread to every corner of the country. The Canadian Centre for Policy Alternative, CCPA, conducted a rental affordability study across Canada. The non-partisan organization found minimum wage employees can't even afford to rent these days. Minimum wage earners can only afford to rent an average one bedroom in 3 small cities. Quebec, cities like Vancouver are so far out of whack, minimum wage employees need more than 2 jobs to afford a rental. Minimum wage earners in most of Canada can't live alone. Looking like, so now what's going to happen is they're going to massage us into believing, oh, co-op living is a normal thing. No, it's not. Co-op living is crap. Living with someone that farts is crap. Renting out a bunk bed is crap. People want their space. People want their lives. People want to live and do what they want and be free. Not this bullshit. They're massaging us into believing, first they started with massaging us into believing that minimum wage jobs are good career jobs, and you could get food on the table and work hard, and you could move up, and you could get promoted. That used to happen before. Looking to live in Canadian Pararo and rent a tiny one-bedroom apartment, even that's now a pipe dream if you're earning minimum wage in Canada. Renting the average one-bedroom in Canada now requires a wage of $20.20 per hour. This means millions of adult Canadians, not actual minimum wage workers that should be in those positions, working full-time, can't afford to live on their own. Yes, rent. Yes, a one-bedroom. So they're massaging people into believing, oh, there's a doctor I spoke to that lives in Toronto, and he lives with one person that the janitor that does the cleaning in the hospital hooked him up with a bedroom in a 2-bedroom place they're renting out, and there's another guy sleeping on a couch paying $400 or $500 a month for the couch. Is this normal, guys? I don't think so. Or only 3 cities are affordable to rent. They're all in Quebec. Canadian one-bedroom rental prices, the number of hours that minimum wage worker needed to afford a one-bedroom apartment rental across Canada. Look at Vancouver, 84 hours. Toronto, 79 hours. Victoria, 67. So at minimum wage, this is how many hours you have to work. Let's get to, look at Barrie, Ontario. The Lost Canucks from there. Murder Peg. Ottawa. Kelowna. Okay, so the Shaughnessy, I guess, Sagway, well, I don't even know. Trails, Rivieras, you need to work 31 hours a week. Sherbrooke, 33 hours at Windsor, 42, you're already getting into now second jobs now. Wow! The least affordable cities are Vancouver, Toronto, and Victoria, and in that order. Vancouver requires 84 hours of minimum wage work to afford a one-bedroom rental! Toronto followed with 79 hours to reach the affordability. Woo! Victoria came in third with an average rental requiring 67 hours of work minimum wage. In case you've missed it, Vancouver requires more than 2 minimum wage to rent a one-bedroom. Even below the average, rentals are scarce, or are scare. Sure, but that's an average of one bedroom. There has been some neighborhoods in cities where they can afford a one bedroom, right? Not like cities like Toronto, Vancouver, or Calgary. Actually, that's the case of 25 out of the 36 census metropolis areas. Not one single neighborhood has an average one-bedroom rental rate affordable for minimum wage earners. The affordability problem isn't just confined in big cities, it's most of Canada. Guys, minimum wage workers, I guess, again, people in between college, in between high school and college and want to save some money, living with their parents. That's what minimum wage jobs was when I remember when I was in high school, even in grade 6 and 7. The teacher would nag on us all the time. Do you want to work minimum wage for the rest of your life? Then smarten up and so you get a real job. Yeah. Do you want to work minimum wage for the rest of your life? Well, that's the course people need to take now because that's what they believe is the way to go in this capitalistic society we live in. Canadian one-bedroom rental neighborhood affordability. Percentage of neighborhoods in each city where the average one-bedroom price would be affordable for a full-time minimum wage employee. So here he is. So the ones we read in reverse, here we go. Sherbrooke, okay, one-bedroom minimum wage. So there it is. We read them in reverse, and then here is in basically all negative territory. The study reveals that fundamental issues regarding the state of Canadian real estate, there are millions of adult Canadians paid minimum wage for full-time millions, guys. The issue has long been obvious in markets because why people aren't affording to start businesses anymore. And that's not the government is at fault with it because the taxation. Now, I have my business. I got my store here. I'm moving it and doing my thing, getting my business where I've cut back the rent by $300 a month. I've also cut back no gas bill, and all I have to pay here is electricity and my internet. That's it, and my rent. Right? So I'm pushing myself to more affordability levels, so I have more of a margin of liquidity. Right? Toronto and Vancouver, the so-called bubble cities, have made it impossible for low-wage earners to afford the city. Now, not huge news, however, the issue is systemic when low-wage earners can only afford to rent in just 3 cities across Canada. And guys, like I said, I could bring up stories. Do you want to work a minimum wage job forever? Do you want to be a loser flipping burgers? That's what the teachers would tell us when I was in grade 5, grade 6. Do you want to be a loser flipping burgers at McDonald's for the rest of your life? That's what we were told as children growing up in grade school. In high school, it got worse. That if you didn't get into college, you're dead. You're finished. Well, I didn't get into college. I can't read. I'm a Portuguese. I'm illiterate, and I didn't go to college. And I've done very well for myself, I'd like to say. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you want to support this transmission and you like my work and my bad reading skills, go ahead and buy me a coffee on Patreon. Thank you so much, and have yourself a great day.